Hey everyone, so today I want to talk about some of the more underrated characters in Genshin Impact and why you should give them a try next time you log in. Now then, first up we have the Pirate Queen Beidou. Oh man, I remember back when I first started this game, I played quite a bit of Beidou. I don't remember the exact reason why, but I just remember I really enjoyed playing with her and thinking of who to put on this list. I knew I had to put her on. So firstly, let me just talk about how great Beidou is. So we have her elemental skill, and man is it one of the coolest abilities in the game. So at first glance, it looks like a simple shield skill as well as boosting Beidou's damage, but once you hit Ascension rank 1, it turns into a sort of counter-attack ability. It completely changes the way you play her going forwards, and that you always want to be countering the enemy's attack to get the damage bonus, and then unleash all your attacks at the enemy. Now while at first it may be a bit difficult to get that timing down, once you do, it definitely does pay off. And maybe this is one of the reasons not many people seem to play her or even talk about her, as she has a little barrier of entry, at least compared to most characters which pretty much just spam your abilities to win. Beidou requires a bit more focus in order to pull off, but man is it fun. I definitely think that Genshin should have more unique mechanics like this, as even to this day I think she's a blast to play with her whole countering mechanics, and if she was a better element I could definitely see her being used way more. However, in saying this, may well change in the coming future, as we are going to be entering Inazuma, and that is the Electro region, so hopefully we see some not only buffs to the Electro element but new artifacts that could elevate Beidou, becoming way stronger, and so more played. Now next up we have a newer character, but one that isn't that talked about anymore, but one I've been recently putting in my teams, and that is Rosaria. Now Rosaria, if you remember a little while back when she was released, she was extremely hyped for various reasons, but since then the hype has died down quite a bit, but she still remains as an incredible cryo character. Now there are two ways to play Rosaria, and that's either as a main DPS or a cryo sub DPS. Now I have more experience with the cryo sub DPS, and so that's what I want to talk about today. But I do know that she's a very capable physical damage main DPS, and if you pair her with someone like Fischl or Beidou to get those superconduct reactions, then you should see some great damage. But now, how does she fare as a cryo sub DPS, and why should you try her? Well, firstly, let's talk about her. Her burst sends down a lance that pulses periodically, dealing cryo damage, and this will stay on the field as you switch characters, which means you are free on your main DPS, say Dillion in this example, to proc the very strong mount reactions. Also, at her second constellation level, the duration of this gets increased, meaning more time to proc reactions, and so more time to do more damage. And don't forget that her second passive Ascension talent states that all of the party's crit rate goes up a percentage depending on Rosaria's max crit rate, which can help a lot to quickly burst down the enemy. So while she's not that talked about anymore, that definitely does not mean she's not good, as she's a great cryo character who, if you manage to pull her in the recent banner, then do give her a try, as you won't be disappointed. Third up, we have the first 5-star of this list, and that is the Harbinger Childe. Now I remember when I first got this character and searching up videos, all I would see is videos of his burst and hitting crazy numbers, and that is one reason I got him at least. And now Childe by himself is an extremely strong carry who can output tons of damage even with little investment, due to not only how his burst works, in that his skill that applies Riptide allows you to completely shred through groups of mobs, as each hit will trigger the Riptide effect and cause AoE damage, and pair him with an Electro user like Fischl to trigger Electro Charge, and oh man, domains with lots of enemies become so easy. Now where I believe his sort of underratedness comes from is his element Hydro. So firstly, he's one of a kind in that he's the only main DPS Hydro. I mean, the other characters could be main DPS, but he's the only one sort of built for that, and due to how reactions work, he's in a weird spot, and it's probably the reason he's not used that much, as firstly Electro Charge, while good for groups of mobs, doesn't do that well with single target damage. Then Freeze, while it can be useful for characters like Ganyu who can really benefit from mobs standing still, Childe won't find much use for this. And so the main reaction that we should be going for is Vaporize, but now there's a problem in that, is that there's no Pyro character who can apply Pyro fast enough to keep up with Childe and his Hydro application with his skill. Now, that's not to say there are no characters that can do this, as we do have people like Shinlin who are really good for this with her kit, as well as now with the recent addition of Kazuha who can infuse his burst with Pyro. I do believe that now Childe can pretty reliably easily trigger Vaporize and see some great damage. And so please do give him a try. He does require you to build the team quite specifically to him, but once you do, you'll be rewarded with one of the most flashiest and fun characters. Finally, we come to our last character on this list, and that is the starter character Kaeya. Now Kaeya is one of the starter characters who, if you, like me, want to have enough for the gacha and start getting the new 4 stars as well as your first 5 star, quickly forget about these characters. However, even though many forget about him, he still remains as a great cryo sub DPS. Now let's talk about Kaeya. So his main use comes from his ability to apply cryo on the move with his burst that will summon icicles around the character on the field and deal cryo damage to any enemy that touches them. So with this, you can dart around the field applying cryo, and then with your main DPS proc powerful reactions that will destroy your enemy. So at a glance, he may look to fill the same role as Rosaria, however there are a few differences. The main is that Rosaria's burst is stationary, whereas his is not, and Kaeya will be better against multiple enemies, as well as his C2 will increase the duration of his burst every enemy you defeat, which makes him heavily favored in domains due to the amount of enemies you face, and as everyone has access to him, there's a much lower barrier of entry compared to Rosaria. The only thing that may be difficult is getting his constellations, due to him never appearing as a featured character, and so you are required to get him in the standard banner. However, even so, he still remains as a very powerful cryo sub DPS, who, if you're looking for one, then definitely look no further than Kaeya. And so, that is the list of some of the more underrated characters in Genshin Impact that sadly don't get enough love, as I honestly do believe them all to be great characters in their own right, and can be very powerful additions to any team. So please try them out, and as always, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.